Church here, and welcome to the Game Grinder, and today I'm doing a video response to Xander Skullion's top 3 favorite video games of the year you were born. He didn't actually tag me, and this was just kind of like an open video, and I thought it was a fun idea, and some other people were doing it, and I was like, hell yeah, I really wasn't thinking about doing a video this week, and just kind of taking a little break and laying low, but I thought this was a fun opportunity to do something a little different and talk about some things that I usually don't get to talk about very often, so I felt like sharing. So just kind of a little backstory here. So I was born in 1982, so at the time, of course, the big system was the Atari, and in 89, and I have since talked to my dad about this to figure out when I actually got my Nintendo, original NES, was in 89, and about the same time, my parents, my dad and my stepmom met, and I met my brother, my stepbrother, and he had an Atari 2600, so pretty much right when I got my hands on my own consoles to play, I had the NES and the Atari, and you know, a lot of these games are some of the first games I ever played. I know before that point, there was a few opportunities I had to play the 2600 and the NES, and I think I played some of the other systems and television and whatnot, but I don't have really concrete memories. I just have some little flashes here and there, and yeah, so I guess the first game here, and you know what? Top 3, screw the top 3, we only need one game of 1982, and that's E.T., and of course I'm full of shit because this game is crap, and this is pretty clean. This is probably actually one of my cleanest Atari games, which is funny, but yeah, could never figure out how to play this game. Of course we didn't have like manuals or whatever. Yeah, so that game's a piece of crap. But the first game I'm gonna go with, and this is not necessarily in a particular order, but I guess I'll kind of go like worst to best, or you know, third to first, I guess. But the first game here is kind of a strange one, I thought, and that is Star Master for the Atari 2600. This is a Activision game, and if you know about Activision on the Atari, they made a lot of solid games. I know they get some gruff these days, but you know, back in the roots, they made some solid titles. And Star Master is basically kind of like a flying sim in a way. You are a ship and you're flying around, taking out other ships. There is a heads-up display map that you can use to locate other ships, enemy ships. There's also refueling, because of course you can't just, you know, openly play a game. There has to be, you know, running out of fuel or time or score or whatnot. And I always thought it was a really fun game. It was always kind of challenging because we didn't have instructions, so we were just trying to figure out how to play it. And like, there's different situations with the color bar on the bottom flashing, and the my camera just moved again, and the cursor flashed, but spent a lot of time playing this one, even, you know, I wasn't that great at it, but, you know, I thought it was a lot of fun. So the next game here is pretty much like my earliest gaming memory, so I'm pretty sure I played this game long before then, at some point, somewhere. I can't say for certain, I just don't remember, but I've always stuck with this game as, I believe, the first game that I feel that was the first game I ever played, and that is Pitfall, another Activision game for the Atari 2600, and this is one of my favorite Atari games, obviously. You know, I was never big into the, like, necessarily arcadey games like Space Invaders or Pac-Man, things like that. You know, they're fun. I respect them a lot. You know, I grew up on those games, but I always thought this one was a little something extra. You basically can go left or right, 2 different levels, and you know, you're trying to get across a bunch of screens, and there's pits and scorpions and alligators, and swinging on the vines was always a blast and probably my favorite part about the game. But I always just really loved this game, and you know, I actually haven't played it in a long time, so you know, it's fun kind of revisiting some of these. And then probably my favorite, well, definitely my favorite Atari game from that year, 1982, but also one of my favorite Atari games. This is kind of interesting as well, I think anyways, and that is Berserk. And this is basically, it's kind of like a shooter action adventure game. You're a little dude, you're running through rooms, taking out like robots, or like Cyclops robots. Pretty fun game, controls fantastic, and one thing that was kind of cool about this game is, as far as I can remember, for Atari anyways, this is a game that my stepmom really enjoyed playing, and sometimes I would have to, you know, beg to play the Atari because this was fun, especially when I only had like, you know, 1 or 2 games for the NES at the time. You know, you can only play Super Mario so much before you want to play something else when there's an abundance of Atari games to play. So yeah, so those are going to be, I guess, my 3 favorite games from 1982. I would like to give a special mention to the arcade game of Jungle Hunt, which later got a port to the Atari, but that came out at another time. But the arcade version of Jungle Hunt was released in 1982, and kind of similar to Pitfall in a way, just, well, there's a lot of differences, but, you know, another really cool game. But yeah, so I would be interested to know your thoughts on some of these games if you have played them. I'm pretty sure everybody's kind of played Pitfall at this point, but like Star Master, Berserk, you know, what are your thoughts? And of course, to anybody watching, I would definitely encourage you to make a similar video and talk about some of your favorite games in the year you were born. So I guess with that said then, I will wrap this up and hope to see some of your videos, and we'll talk to you next time on the Game Grinder.